Ethan Hart did not remember falling asleep. He did not remember a bed, a room, or even the night before. All he remembered was darkness. Then, light. A cold blue glow touched his eyelids. His mind rose like someone swimming up from deep water. His eyes opened slowly, and the first thing he felt was a sharp, metallic chill against his skin. He inhaled, and the air tasted strange, too clean, too smooth, like filtered gas instead of real oxygen. He blinked again. He was lying on a metal bed. A narrow, silver platform floated a few inches above the floor. Strange soft lights pulsed beneath it, making the air shimmer. Ethan tried to sit up, but his wrists did not move. Energy bands, thin, glowing rings, held him down. A wave of fear rushed across his chest. Where am I?" he whispered, his voice cracking. The room around him was like nothing from Earth. The walls curved upward like the inside of a giant shell, covered in tiny floating symbols made of light. They moved like insects, forming patterns, breaking apart, reforming again. Nothing made sense. His heart started pounding. He struggled again, harder this time, but the energy bands only tightened. His pulse screamed inside his ears. Then, he felt it. A presence. Someone was standing beside him. Ethan froze. A shadow moved slowly into his vision. A figure leaned over him, blocking part of the blue ceiling lights. The figure was tall, slender, and not human. Skin like soft silver. Hair that moved like liquid light. Eyes glowing violet, bright enough that Ethan felt them burning into his soul. The figure lowered her face closer. He saw her clearly now, an alien woman, breathtaking and terrifying at the same time. She had the grace of a queen and the silence of a ghost. Her voice was soft, almost like a whisper carried by wind. "You are awake, human." Ethan's breath caught in his throat. He wanted to scream, to escape, to wake again from this nightmare. But before he could speak, she leaned down, so close he felt her cool breath on his ear. And she whispered, "You belong to me now." A chill raced through his body. Ethan jerked in panic. What? Who are you? What do you mean I belong to you?" The woman did not answer right away. She studied his face like he was some rare creature found in the wild. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment. Finally, she spoke. "I am Princess Lyria of the Astra Dominion." Her voice was calm, but every word hit Ethan like a shockwave. Princess? Dominion? Alien royalty? He tried again to pull his hands free. The energy bands crackled, but they didn't break. "Why am I here?" he shouted. "Why did you bring me?" Lyria tilted her head slightly. A small, unreadable smile touched her lips. "You are important, Ethan Hart," she said. "You do not understand yet. But you will." Ethan's heart thumped painfully. How did she know his name? Before he could ask anything else, a sudden alarm exploded through the room. A sharp, echoing siren. Lights flashed red across the ceiling. The floating symbols scrambled like they were panicking. Lyria's eyes widened, not with fear, but with anger. "They found us," she whispered. Ethan's stomach dropped. "Who found us?" Lyria touched the air, and the energy bands broke instantly. Ethan shot up, rubbing his wrists as the burn sensation faded. Lyria grabbed his arm firmly. "We must leave. Now." Ethan stumbled but let her pull him off the bed. The room shifted, panels sliding open to reveal a long hallway of glowing blue metal. The alarm grew louder. Ethan heard voices shouting in a language he didn't understand. Sparks flew somewhere behind them. Something exploded. Soldiers in crystal armor ran across the far corridor, firing beams of white energy. Ethan froze. Why are they fighting? Who are they? Lyria pulled him harder. Enemies. They want you. Why me? I'm just a normal human. She looked at him with an expression he could not understand, half pain, half something else. You are not normal, she said. Not to them. And not to me. They ran down the corridor. The floor vibrated violently as the ship shook. Ethan looked through a transparent wall and saw open space outside, thousands of stars and a massive warship firing blue beams. A giant battle was happening around them. Because of him. Stop, someone yelled behind them. Ethan turned and saw a soldier wearing black armor, carrying a glowing spear. The soldier pointed at Ethan. Do not let the princess escape with the human. Ethan's blood turned cold. Lyria pushed him through a round door that sealed itself shut. Inside was a small escape pod, glowing with soft orange light. No, wait, Lyria, what is going on? Ethan begged. Lyria touched his chest gently. If they take you, the galaxy will burn. Ethan stared at her, shocked, breathless. What does that mean? You will know, she said softly. The pod door opened automatically behind him. Lyria guided him inside. Ethan tried to hold onto her arm, but the door began to close. I'm not leaving without answers, he shouted. Lyria placed her hand on the glass as it sealed. You will live, she said quietly. That is all that matters. The pod launched. Ethan was thrown back as it shot into space like a comet. The stars stretched into long lines. The alien ship behind him shrank, surrounded by explosions and beams of light. For a moment, he thought he saw Lyria on the balcony of the ship, watching him. Then the warships turned and began chasing the pod. Ethan felt his heart explode with fear and confusion. He was alone in a tiny pod. Aliens were fighting over him. A princess claimed he belonged to her. Enemies wanted him for reasons he didn't understand. And somewhere in the chaos, he sensed. This was only the beginning. The pod shook violently as enemy ships closed in. Ethan grabbed the seat. What do you want from me? He whispered to the empty air. No one answered. Only the stars. And the war closing in. The escape pod trembled violently. Stars streaked past Ethan's eyes like white lightning. His heart raced so fast he thought it might burst. Behind him, massive alien warships fired blue beams that lit up space. Sparks flared from the pod's outer hull. Hold on! Lyria shouted, gripping the control panel. Her silver hair floated around her face as she pushed buttons Ethan couldn't understand. The pod twisted sharply, dodging a beam that sliced through space just inches away. Ethan barely had time to breathe. What is happening? Who are those things? They are hunters, Lyria said, her violet eyes glowing with fury. They want you, and they will not stop. Ethan swallowed hard. Why me? Lyria's face softened for a moment, but the hardness returned instantly. Because you carry something they need, something only a human can carry. Before he could ask more, a shockwave rattled the pod. The control panel flashed red. Sparks rained down, and a deep alarm blared. Ethan was thrown to the floor, hitting his head. Stars danced behind his eyelids. When he sat up, he saw Lyria standing, bracing herself. We are near the moon. A hidden place, you must trust me. The pod shuddered again and crashed through the thin atmosphere of a rocky, gray moon. Dust and small rocks blasted the windows. The pod skidded across the surface, finally stopping in a deep crater surrounded by jagged cliffs. Ethan scrambled to his feet, rubbing his head. Safe? For now, Lyria said, scanning the skies. But they will follow. The pod's door hissed as it opened. Lyria pulled Ethan out, and his boots sank slightly into the gray dust. He looked around. The moon was silent except for the faint hum of energy in the rocks. Strange ruins jutted from the ground, covered in glowing lines and strange symbols that pulsed faintly like living veins. What is this place? Ethan asked. Lyria glanced at him. A place few have seen in 1,000 years. If we can hide here, maybe they cannot find us. Suddenly, a loud boom echoed from the horizon. Ethan turned just in time to see 3 black alien ships descending, weapons ready. They landed with the force of meteors, sending dust flying in clouds. They found us already, Lyria muttered. Move. She grabbed Ethan's hand and ran toward the ruins. The stone paths were uneven, glowing symbols lighting their way. Behind them, soldiers in black crystal armor charged, energy rifles firing. Bolts of light exploded against the rocks, sending shards flying. Ethan ran as fast as he could, but he had never run like this before. His lungs burned. His legs ached. Yet he could not stop. The sound of enemy shouts behind him kept him moving. They entered a massive ruin, a towering structure carved from gray stone but lined with glowing blue circuits. Doors opened as if the ruins recognized them. Platforms rose from the floor, moving like elevators. Ethan felt dizzy, overwhelmed. What is this place?" he gasped. "The ruins of the ancients," Lyria said, her voice trembling slightly. "They were builders of weapons and wonders. We may find protection here, or danger." Ethan's mind raced. "Weapons? What do you mean? Do I have something to do with this?" Lyria hesitated, then touched his chest. A faint glow flared where her fingers met his shirt. "You carry a key inside you, Ethan. Something only humans can hold. It can unlock power, or destruction. That is why they chase you." Ethan froze. I'm just a normal human." "Not normal," Lyria said sharply. "You are unique. And you must survive." A loud crashing noise shook the floor. Ethan looked up to see a massive door slowly closing. Shadows moved beyond it, enemy soldiers, dozens of them, armed and relentless. "Quick!" Lyria shouted, grabbing his arm. "We go now." They leapt onto a moving platform. It rose high, revealing a vast network of glowing ruins stretching for miles. Above, enemy soldiers hovered with jetpacks, firing energy bolts. Ethan dodged instinctively, diving behind a floating stone column. Sparks of blue energy burned into the ground around him. Lyria fired back with a strange energy weapon, precise and deadly. Soldiers fell into the shadows, screaming, but more appeared instantly. Ethan realized there were too many, they would never stop. "This way!" Lyria shouted, pointing to a narrow passageway between two stone towers. They ran. The passage twisted and curved like a living maze. Symbols along the walls reacted to Ethan, pulsing faster as he ran. The ruins seemed alive, recognizing him. Ethan looked at Lyria. "What is happening to me?" "You will know soon," she said, eyes narrowing. "But survive first." The floor shook violently. Enemy ships appeared above, dropping troops directly onto the platforms. One soldier jumped in front of them, energy spear raised. Ethan froze for a moment, but Lyria pushed him forward. "Now," she shouted. The platform moved just as the soldier lunged. Ethan barely dodged the spear. Lyria turned, striking the soldier with a flash of energy. He fell into the shadows below. Ethan swallowed, heart hammering. They ran, platform to platform, dodging beams and bolts, their breaths harsh in the cold air. He realized with a mix of fear and awe that the ruins themselves were helping them, platforms moving just as they needed, doors opening to give them escape routes. Finally, they reached a massive chamber. The ceiling stretched high, and at the center floated a giant orb of glowing light. Ethan felt a strange pull toward it, his body tingling as if something inside recognized him. "Step carefully," Lyria warned. "This is a place of power. If they touch you here, everything ends, for everyone." Outside, the sounds of battle grew closer. Ethan looked at Lyria. "What is this power?" Her face darkened. "Something you must survive to see, or the galaxy will burn." And then, from above, the shadows fell again. The chase was not over. Ethan's legs trembled as he stared at the glowing orb floating above the center of the ancient chamber. Its light pulsed like a heartbeat. His skin tingled, his chest tightened, and somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered, not in words, but in sensation. This is me," he muttered. Lyria's violet eyes were wide, serious. "Yes. You are the key, Ethan. But this this is dangerous. If they touch you here, the galaxy will burn. Before he could ask what she meant, the chamber shook violently. Dust fell from the high ceiling. The enemy soldiers, they had followed them, were inside the ruins now, jetpacks and rifles at the ready. The black-armored general stepped forward, tall and commanding, a spear of glowing energy in hand. His helmet gleamed under the light of the orb. "Human," he said, voice booming. "Step forward. Activate it. Or everything dies. You have no choice." Ethan swallowed hard. "Activate what?" The general smiled beneath the helmet. "The weapon of the ancients. Your people made it, long ago. Only a human can unlock its power. Only you can do it. Now do it." Ethan looked at Lyria. She placed a hand on his shoulder, trembling slightly. "Don't trust him. It's not a shield, it's a weapon. A super weapon. The ancients built it to destroy planets." Ethan's heart pounded. "Destroy planets?" "Yes," Lyria said sharply. "If you let them force it, billions will die. And I cannot stop it alone." The soldiers advanced. Ethan's hands shook. The orb pulsed brighter as if it sensed his fear. He stepped closer. The air hummed, vibrating with energy. Symbols on the walls glowed intensely. "Do it," the general shouted. Ethan's mind screamed. He wanted to run, to hide, but his body moved forward. He reached out, and the moment his fingers brushed the orb, a shockwave of light and sound hit him. His vision spun. He saw countless stars, worlds, civilizations, all alive in his mind. He could feel their energy, their life. He could sense their fear. A voice whispered, clearer this time. Not Lyria's, not the general's. His own. "You are not a tool. You are human. Choose." Ethan's eyes snapped open. He pulled back. The orb dimmed slightly. The soldiers froze. "What are you doing?" the general roared. Ethan looked at Lyria. She nodded, silently telling him to trust himself. For the first time, he realized something: he was not powerless. This was his choice. The human inside him mattered. With a deep breath, Ethan stepped closer again. But this time, instead of touching the orb to activate the weapon, he focused on himself, on his own instincts. He imagined shutting the weapon down, not firing it. A low roar filled the chamber. The orb quaked. Symbols on the walls spun like a storm. Ethan felt energy tearing at his mind, but he did not falter. He forced it into order, into calm. Slowly, the weapon's energy faded. Light dimmed. The pulsing heartbeat of the orb slowed, and finally, stopped. Silence. The enemy soldiers froze. The general's helmet reflected the dimming light, his anger palpable. "Impossible," he whispered. Lyria stepped forward, relief flooding her face. "You did it, Ethan. You shut it down. The ancient's weapon, it's gone. Forever." Ethan sank to the ground, exhausted. I didn't even know I could do that." "You are human," Lyria said softly. "And humans always surprise the galaxy." The enemy soldiers hesitated, then slowly retreated. Their general slammed his spear against the floor in frustration and disappeared with a flash, leaving the ruins silent. The danger was over. Ethan looked at Lyria. She was bruised, her silver skin streaked with energy burns, but she smiled faintly. "I lied to you," she said quietly. "When I whispered, 'You belong to me,' it wasn't just because of duty. It was because I swore to protect you. No one else could. And now, you understand." Ethan swallowed. I thought you wanted control. But you saved me, we saved everything." Lyria nodded. "Yes. And now, maybe we can build something new. Together." Ethan's gaze turned to the stars outside the ruins. The warships were gone, the galaxy quiet again. He felt something powerful, hope, courage, and the knowledge that even one human could change the fate of countless worlds. Humans, Lyria whispered, almost to herself, they always do the impossible. Ethan smiled. Then, let's make sure they know us, not as weapons, but as allies. They stepped out of the ruins together. The stars stretched endlessly above them. The hidden moon, ancient and silent, now held no weapon, only the memory of its power and the promise of new beginnings. Somewhere in the distance, a faint hum echoed, as if the ancients themselves were watching. But Ethan knew, this time, humanity had won. Not through power, but through choice, courage, and the will to survive. The galaxy was theirs to change, and they would not fail.